Hello, fellow Daz Studio enthusiasts. This is Not From This World, and I want to welcome you to another Daz Studio tutorial. Now, I gotta tell you, I was pretty excited about making this tutorial this week, but everything just fell apart. And that's because I wanted to show you a new script that I found. This script was actually on Daz Studio's website. And it was originally, I think, $9.99, and then right around Christmas time, it was discounted to free. So I jumped on it. It's called Quick Hide, and I downloaded it and really had some high expectations for it. I was going to make a great tutorial showing how this works, and after playing with it for a while, I just discovered that it's not what I thought it was. Now, to get started, I've got Milica kind of in a sci-fi scene here today, and that's because I want to talk about how to hide objects and what I thought this script Quick Hide was going to do, and then what it turns out it really is. So in my scene here, I've got Milica in a sci-fi setting where she is about to be kidnapped by tentacles. And so I have these tentacles kind of coming up off the floor, and Milica, sitting on this table, has just noticed them. So they are about to perhaps take her. Now, who wouldn't want to kidnap Milica and take her away? But these tentacles have some devious intentions. But I chose the tentacles because they are made out of many segments. And so if we take a prop like a rope or a chain, or in this case these tentacles, they are made out of many different segments. Now, the challenge is when you want to hide things, but keep part of them, we usually are restricted to the parameters tab and trying to use those little eyeballs to hide objects. So you can see here under Milica, I've got, her set up, and then I can hide different objects by just clicking these eyeballs. Now, what I thought was going to happen, and what I was really hopeful for, is that this script would help me hide certain parts of the object and then keep the others. So I wouldn't have to go and click all the eyeballs. And so, for example here, if I select this tentacle, you can see it's got all these different segments, and each segment, of course, has a eyeball hide. Now, what I often need to do is hide a portion of these sections. So, for example, when I click on the tentacle's tip, you can see the parameters tab kind of just disappears because we are going down. We have to slide across to go down to find what we just selected. And so we have to toggle all the way to the right, and then we've got to go all the way back to the left to click on that eyeball to hide that. And if we want to select multiple things to hide, what the pain is you have to select each one of these different eyeballs for each segment to hide them. And so you can see now I'm hiding parts of that tentacle. And then if I want to restore and make them viewable again, I've got to go back and hit every eyeball. So this has always been a challenge, and if I have a rope or a chain or something like that in the scene, and I need to hide part of it, I'm always going and clicking a bunch of little eyeballs. Now, I thought that this Quick Hide script was going to potentially fix this issue, and so I downloaded it. Unfortunately, it's so crazy, it's not even on the Daz website anymore. You can't find it. I just searched it yesterday, and it's gone. So if you want this to play around with, I actually have a link for you to download it and then unzip it, and then you can play with it. I'm thinking it's okay. I mean, it was marked as free, So feel free to take it and experiment with it. If you get it to work better, you've got to let me know. And if you have tricks for hiding things, you've got to tell me, because I get tired of clicking all of these eyeballs all the time to try and hide things. But I downloaded this, and this Quick Hide is a script. So to find it, you have to go to the My Daz 3D library, go down to scripts, and it's under this name, Brad Karsten, and then Quick Hide. So Quick Hide will do a good job at hiding the entire object. So if I click on the entire tentacle and I double click on the script, I can just select not visible in viewport and not visible in render. And when I do that, see, the whole tentacle will just disappear, which is great, but I can do the same thing by just selecting the entire tentacle and coming up here and selecting that eyeball. So I'm not exactly sure why that is going to be super beneficial. It's just taking away maybe one step. The one thing I don't like about it is if I come up here to that tentacle and I make it invisible, then in my parameters tab, I know it's invisible because I can see the eyes closed. With this script, when I make it invisible through the script, that eyeball is still open, but it's gone. So if you want to like completely get rid of something and then ignore it, this script might work pretty well. But if I want to make that thing visible again, I may forget that I even have it in my scene. So that's a limitation. Now let me show you what I thought this could do. What I thought I could do is select a section of this tentacle. So you can see now I have just the beginning of it. And then I thought, oh man, this is gonna be awesome because I can go in here and I can make this invisible. Doesn't work. So frustrated about it. It just made the first thing I selected invisible, which was the tip, and it keeps everything else. So if I want to make that invisible, I'm going to have to scroll over and I'm going to have to click every eyeball. And so just kind of disappointing on this. So I guess, as I often do, I'm asking for any suggestions. Is there a way to hide partial objects? Because it is cumbersome to just have to go and click every one of these eyeballs. And so if you have a better way of doing partial hiding, I would really like to know. Now there is one thing that is kind of cool that I did figure out, and that is to hide figure objects. So if I select Milica again, if we make Milica invisible, maybe we need to do some work and make her invisible. When we just click the eyeball for Milica, everything that Milica has on, her clothes, her hair, everything remains and just the character disappears. And in a previous video, I told you that a good way to fix that would be to put Milica into a group. So if we choose Milica, select her in the parameters tab, just go up to create new group. We can create a group and then we can just hide that group, which is pretty cool. So if I have that group, see, I can now hide her and then every part of her disappears, which is pretty cool. Another thing that you can do though is if you hold down your control key and then hit the hide button to your character, she will completely disappear as well. And then to have her come back, just hold the control key and hit that eyeball. Now here is the trick. If you have anything hidden, like a lot of times I will have multiple hair, it will make everything visible. So if you can see, I've got this Linda hair and now it's visible. So I'm gonna have to go back and make that invisible. So if you do the control method, it's gonna, when you deselect it and make it visible, it's gonna make everything on that character visible. So it makes everything invisible. It makes everything visible. Well, that about wraps it up, unfortunately. I'm a little disappointed in that quick hide. I had high expectations for it, but, just sometimes things don't work out the way you want. But please like, subscribe, and give me a comment about how you hide objects. I'd really like to know, these segmented things when you want to partially hide a prop. It's a challenge. So I want to thank everyone. You guys are getting me close to 1,000 subscribers. I really appreciate that. And until next time, have a wonderful day. Let's get some render going with Milica discovering some sci-fi tentacles.